Hello and welcome back to the SKUSavvy YouTube channel. Today we're going through forecasting and how you can use different tools between Shopify and what we're using here, SKUSavvy, to help plan your forecasting for inventory. Now what we're going to do here is look between our Shopify store and just see what options we do have available for inventory forecasting compared to SKUSavvy, where we have a built-in forecasting tool. So as you can see here, I'm looking at a product within our SKUSavvy inventory, and with replenishment, stock replenishment here, we can see order history over time, and we can see inventory history as well as days on hand. Now, when we go in to create a new purchase order here, what we're going to see is that we can turn on inventory forecasting, which is going to have a built-in tool. So I'm going to turn on the suggestions over here. And now what we're looking at is for each given item, we get, if there is some kind of suggestion, we get this suggestion popping up over here. And so inventory forecasting within SKUSavvy is built around your sales velocity over a given time period. So we could influence the sales velocity or sales time period that we're looking at right from here. We can also look at the lead time from the vendor. So this will calculate over time as we place purchase orders within SKUSavvy and help you to anticipate how much stock you're going to need between the time that you order and when that product actually arrives from the vendor. We can also look at, of course, on-hand inventory, what's committed, so our outbound orders that we need to ship, as well as what's expected to come in on other purchase orders or transfers for this product. And of course, we do have the sales velocity, which is calculated over time as well. And given all of those, as well as actually the par values, so a min and max value that we could set, we don't have to set this, but given all of those criteria, we can see here that SKUSavvy has suggested 1,937 units to purchase for this inventory item. Now again, that's combining all of those different metrics to come up with some kind of individual quantity here. Now, why would you want to use this in terms of setting up your forecasting instead of just going into Shopify? Well, as you can see here, the problem is on Shopify, there really isn't any kind of forecasting without using something like SKUSavvy to do this. So as you can see here, I'm creating a purchase order within Shopify and I don't have any kind of suggestions. So if we go into browse our product catalog here, you can see the total available as well as available at the destination if we were doing a transfer, but there really isn't any kind of purchasing suggestions here just given the stock level. Now, what can you do from Shopify is you can go over and look at some of the reports. So we can see, for instance, total sales by product might help us to get some of that information, or we could look down here at our products by sell-through rate. So if we jump over into some of the reports related to inventory, the most helpful report is really going to be products by sell-through rate. The other one that could also help us out is products by days of inventory remaining. So between these two reports here, we can start to build out some kind of forecasting rules, but really we're going to need to do a lot of numbers crunching. We would need to export this and look at, what are our inventory units on hand and how fast is that selling. We could combine this with the report that might, let's go back to so if we go to the other reports that we do have on the inventory side, we could come up with a spreadsheet that might even use our ABC analysis, inventory sold daily by product. We could start to combine these things and get some sort of forecasting, but it's really going to be pretty cumbersome. And there's really not a whole lot of tools within Shopify by itself to help you with this forecasting. So what we're using, of course, is SKUSavvy in this case. And just to go through a little bit more in detail how this actually works. So on each given product within your catalog, we can go over into the inventory and we can see for a given product, let's go into our Savvy coffee mug here. And on each given product, we can see, of course, up here, we do have an ABC analysis of the product. We can see inventory levels. But down at the bottom here, we can see and turn on automated replenishment. And so what we could do is set a min and max par value for this item, again, at this particular warehouse. And that's also going to factor in and tell us, how many we should be purchasing to get back up to our desired level. Now, if you don't set this replenishment level, that's totally fine. SKUSavvy will look at it and still give you a calculation. So as you can see down here, we have lead times. And so across our different vendors, we can see the average lead time. Now, our lead time is pretty quickly here because usually we turn these around and make the demo purchase order and then immediately check it in. But this will start to calculate over time as you build purchase orders within SKUSavvy and check those in. Now we can also set a default time. So this is a really critical factor and something that can help you a lot when it comes to actually anticipating how many units you need to purchase to cover the time period between when you've purchased that item and when it actually comes in from the vendor. So let's also go into, if we look at our order history for this product. So if we go over and we view the product, we can also look at the orders. And so we can see order history here. Again, this is all being factored in just compared to our sales velocity here for this item. So when we look at that and we combine that, we can also go into the purchase orders here and we can see for this given item, what our average lead time is, our max lead time, and we can get a cost value there for the item as well. Now, what happens when we have zero on-hand stock, but we do have committed stock? That's what we would call a back order, and SKUSavvy is automatically going to factor in that back ordered stock. Now, you can also use this same exact feature type on transfers. So if we go into the transfer here, we'll create this and we'll go from our, actually we're going to go from our Savvy warehouse over to the Austin warehouse. And again, we'll turn on the suggestions. So we have a applied sales date range here that we're looking at. And of course, this is also giving us a suggestion for the quantities that we should be adding to this transfer so that the receiving side of the transfer will have all of its stock that is needed. So that is going to make it very easy to assemble these transfers or purchase orders and honestly help save a ton of time. So most companies, after a little while of getting the data in the system and starting to use SKUSavvy, they can typically end up completely replacing any kind of forecasting that they might be doing outside of the system here and just simply let the system do its thing. So that is a very helpful tool and can honestly save a ton of time. Again, when we consider that Shopify, really the only thing that we're going to get here is these different reports, and then we're going to have to do a lot of analysis on, what we should actually be purchasing here. So let's also just go ahead and look at, any kind of stock replenishment overall. So if we go back into SKUSavvy, we can see down here at the bottom, before we've even started placing this purchase order, we have our items, and then we can see the date range there. The inventory range for this item. So if we go over into our inventory and go to stock replenishment, this is going to give us that general view overall across our catalog of items that are either outside of the range, within range, and just our min and max par values for any given level. Now within SKUSavvy, you can also set different par values for each different location. And so that can help to rebalance stock across your warehouse versus store locations so that your store locations never run out. Again, just saving a lot of time and effort to assemble these types of reports as they are. So hopefully that was just a quick, helpful overview on how you can start using SKUSavvy. There's a free account available for orders under 50. Go ahead, go over to the Shopify App Store, type in SKUSavvy, and you'll be able to install it there. You get 50 orders for free, so give it a try today. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. We appreciate your support.